Is actually constructing 3 miles of border wall a day to fill those areas to stop the child trafficking crisis that you're alluding to.
We're going to have 15 or 20 species of animals that go extinct because they're migratory patterns.
I'm willing to pay that cost to stop child trafficking.
I'm not.
Okay.
How's the protest going?
Not enough anti-Trump. Not nearly enough anti-Trump.
What do you want to see mainly?
Anti-Trump.
Hey, that makes sense. Why is there not enough?
Everyone has gotten in on the feast. Everyone else has gotten in on the feast. They're losing the thrust. They're losing the thrust. The thrust should be to elect Democrats in the House and the Senate and to elect a Democratic president. You should not lose that focus. This has lost the focus.
Yeah, so what? You think they're just talking about X, Y, Z, too many random things and not remaining focus is what you're kind of saying? Or what do you mean?
They're not random, but they're peripheral. They're peripheral. You have to maintain the focus.
Yeah, so you're leaving early. Are you leaving early because you just don't think it's effective, or why is that?
I'm just tired of hearing everything except anti-Trump.
Yeah, they when it comes down to that, do you think that's the winning thing, like anti-Trump? That's all it should be, is just anti-Trump?
Everything that created Trump is what needs to be dealt with. These other issues are very important, but they're peripheral. We need to get the job done, and the other issues will get taken care of.
It's funny enough, this guy actually voted for Trump, so we're doing a video with him. I'm kind of using him as an experiment, maybe like an experimental monkey, perhaps. And so I'm just curious, your thoughts. He voted for Trump. I think he's still a supporter for sure. What are your thoughts about that?
I've been opposed to Trump ever since I came of age in the 80s in New York City. He's always been striving to be someone he's not. He always has had a chip on his shoulder. He's very defensive, and it carries over into his politics. He's really not a political creature. He's a creature who's needy and sees the world in how it can benefit him. So,
Doyle, what do you think about that? I mean, this is a Trump voter right here. What do you think about that, Doyle?
I don't know if I would say that that's very accurate. I too may become sort of defensive over time if I'm surviving, political witch hunts and assassination attempts and different things of that nature. I think that, you don't think the assassination attempt was real?
No,
do you think it was staged?
I think they were real, but I think he benefited handsomely
from dodging the bullet. I agree that he did benefit from that handsomely as opposed to not having dodged the bullet. But why do you think, in terms of his political machine, what is the biggest thing that he represents that you would take issue with?
He represents bigotry. He represents white people on top. He represents all the benefits that white men have been given since the 18th century.
Do you think that's what the Republican Party does too, generally
The Republican
speaking?
Party rolls over.
Yeah.
The Republican Party, it's almost an insult to refer to them as a political party any longer.
Why do you think it is that if the Republican Party's represented that for so long, Donald Trump has actually gotten the largest number of minority support of any Republican candidate ever, despite being, like you're saying, the figurehead for only white guys? How is he hypnotizing these minorities into voting against their best interest?
He's also working against the best interests of probably half of the white people who support it. It's economics. I don't understand the self-loathing may be too strong, but it's not understanding what your own best interests are to your detriment.
Sure.
A great bulk of the people who vote for Trump don't understand what's in their best interest, what's in their children's, what's in their grandchildren's best interest.
Changing the subject really quick question for you. Do you think that there's going to be a U.S.-Iran nuclear deal?
It seems like not. It seems like Trump is going full out, all out, right? Sorry, my English is not that good. But I think he's going to go, infantry style, go inside.
Okay, you think so?
I think so.
You think Americans will accept that?
It depends. I don't know what's the situation here, but I think the liberals are more like Trump supporters, right? Conservatives?
Conservatives are.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm not trying to laugh at you.
I know.
If you had $100 to bet on that, would you bet that Trump's going to go all the way?
50-50.
50-50.
Yeah.
I'm showing people this right here from Kalshi. Kalshi does basically tracking sentiment. You can make bets on here. They're showing before 2027, there's a 34% chance of a U.S.-Iran nuclear deal. You're saying probably not.
Trump is saying all the time that the Iranians don't agree about a lot of things, and he says like in 48 hours, have you heard? 48 hours, all hell will break through. So it seems that no deal is coming. Also, the Iranians seem very extreme, and they're not agreeing to anything.
All right, so that guy's not seeing a deal being made. My opinion, I'm not seeing one being made either, at least with the IRGC. Let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below on that. Now, Kalshi is the only place to trade on these kinds of events legally in all 50 states. That is a big deal. Get $10 when you sign up using my code. Go to kalshi.com/Klug and get a free $10 credit when you trade $100. That is kalshi.com/Klug. I will also put a link down in the description below. Thank you to Kalshi for sponsoring this video. Let's get back into it.
And maybe they like to think that, well, if I win the lottery and I'm a billionaire, then I want the world to work okay for me then. Well,
Why is that? I mean, why do you see it that way when it comes to the previous election, between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump? Trump won the majority of people earning under $100,000. Why is the Republican Party appealing to the working class more than the Democrat Party right now, in your view?
They're not appealing to the working class. They're appealing to the marginal voters who would help Trump get over the hump. They were appealing to the uneducated voter. They were appealing to the voter who never votes. Whatever his magic, he worked his magic to motivate people who are functionally uneducated, people who never vote. He got them to get off their couches and go to vote. And that's where the margin was. And whatever he did, he was brilliant at it. But since the day after the election, he doesn't owe them anything. They are getting screwed as badly as they ever have. He conned them into getting up to vote.
What do you think about that? Do you think that's where the Republican Party's at? Just going after the uneducated voter.
I'm saying Trump. I'm not saying Republican Party.
Sorry, I'll correct that.
I'm saying Trump.
Right. So Trump went after the uneducated voter.
Yes.
He
went after the voter that nobody goes after because they assume they won't vote.
What do you think about that, Doyle?
I don't know. I mean, he flipped a lot of voters who used to be Obama voters, like these working class, blue collar,
Not
white types.
a lot,
9
no.
million in 2016, and I think a lot of those people are seeing a secure border. They're seeing deportations. They're seeing American energy dominance. These are all things that make the American quality of life better. And what you're describing in terms of channeling kind of an uneducated, resentful class of people seems to be far more like what's going on with the Democrats. When Trump talks about his policies, he talks about immigration, crime. When I was in the Democrats, they talk about kings and democracy and fascism. This is all language to alienate emotional impulses in people. Like, look at that guy's sign. We need to crush fascism. There's no fascism. If there was fascism, that guy would be arrested. So what you're describing in terms of channeling very baseline, primitive impulses in people seems to be what the left is doing, actually. And Republicans are actually focused on governing. And I, as a 3-time Trump voter, hopefully 4-time Trump voter, am feeling quite optimistic about things.
You want him to, despite the Constitution, you want him to run again?
It's words on paper. It's a living document, right? We can amend
Words
it.
on paper, the Constitution.
Yes.
Words on
That's what
paper.
I learned in my liberal education. It can always be amended to fit the needs of the present American population, and I look forward to that happening.
Well, you've never worked on amending the Constitution.
That's
then.
true, I have not.
Yeah, well, I have.
Sir, really quick, I heard you kind of, you were laughing under your breath about closing down the border. Why is that? Do you think it's not closed down right now?
No, the border is forcibly shut down, and what do I see?
Do you think? Where do you stand on that?
Farmers and ranchers in my family. We can't bring the crops in. We can't wrangle the cattle. We're paying the price.
Do they need to be? You need illegal immigrants for that?
Yes. No,
Why not just immigrants on visas and legally in the United States? Like worst case scenario, right there is what I'm describing.
We'd be happy with that. We'd be happy with that.
What about like the millions of others that are in construction and all sorts of fields?
Well, look at the state those fields are in right now. They're not surviving.
Why do they need to come illegally, I guess is my question.
Why do they need to come illegally? because it's too difficult. The laws are stacked against their coming legally.
There's all sorts of work visas that in the United States,
Not
hundreds of thousands.
for menial workers, there aren't. Not for farm workers, not for ranch workers.
Would you more support that instead of like an open border? Or you'd more support like, okay, hey, if an industry is struggling, bring in legal, so we know who's there. What do you think?
I support an open border. I think yes.
Oh, no.
I think if people want to live here and work here, it boils down to economics. If they can come here and earn a living, give them a shot.
A quick question for you when it comes to that. Every single person that enters the country without permission right now, they're paying cartels in between points of entry. They're paying cartels. Cartels made record profits under the Biden administration.
I have no idea.
Do you think that's a bad thing? Do you want them to be making billions, tens of billions of dollars on human smuggling?
Wait a minute. I'm an economist.
Thank
You
you,
can't
sir.
collect data from cartels. So anyone that quotes cartel data, they don't know what they're talking about. There is no
Is
data.
it true or false that people pay to be smuggled across the border?
Sometimes desperate people pay, yes.
So every single person that's paying a coyote to come across the border, which is the majority of people coming in between points of entry,
I
they
disagree
pay anyway.
with that.
What do you disagree with?
I don't see the evidence. There's
All
no evidence.
available data shows that that's the case.
No,
Why do you say no?
I'm on the Bureau of Labor Statistics 25 times a week. There is never any data there that supports anything you're saying. It's just not there.
Okay.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Okay, so you're saying that people that are not paying cartels to come across the border?
No, there are desperate people who pay cartels to help them the last mile.
Well, no. Cartels control the area, so you don't get through without paying a coyote.
No, that's incorrect.
In fact, the overwhelming majority of
that's
people that come across the
incorrect.
border without
That's
permission,
incorrect.
enrich cartels.
That's incorrect.
Yeah.
We've got third and fourth generation people working on our ranch.
You want to look it up?
What?
Should we fact check it right now?
No,
You don't want to?
no, I don't want to do that.
No worries.
What I want to do is go home and
No, I understand.
get warm.
What about record-breaking child trafficking down at the southern border under the previous administration?
No.
Over 400,000 unaccompanied minors. You can call it child smuggling if you want.
No, child smuggling is bad, and what Epstein did was bad. And I see Epstein getting shucked to the side.
Epstein was helping cartels smuggle 400,000 children in 4 years?
Child smuggling.
Right. Both bad, right?
Yes.
Totally. And we can agree that we want both to stop or no?
No, child smuggling is bad.
Okay, so at the southern border, you're happy with that not being a crisis right now then, under the
Wait.
current administration?
Wait.
Is that right?
The crisis is continuing. The crisis is continuing. It is not
According
abated.
to what data? Or what source?
There are hundreds of miles of our border with Latin America
Totally.
that are wide open. I'm talking about what happens on those parts of the border.
Yeah.
Great news. Trump is actually constructing 3 miles of border wall a day to fill those areas to stop the child trafficking crisis that you're alluding to.
Yeah,
you may rest easy.
and we're going to have 15 or 20 species of animals that go extinct because their migratory patterns are being destroyed.
I'm willing to pay that cost to stop child trafficking.
I'm not.
Okay.
You're not?
I'm not. There are other ways to stop child trafficking, and I think child trafficking is a side issue. It's a hot issue, but in the scheme of things, it's a diversion.
Right.
It's diversion from the big issues.
Like Donald Trump being a king.
What?
Like Donald Trump being a king.
No.
Oh, no
That-
king. Yeah, that's true. That is the title of the protest.
Well, sir, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate the important conversation, and I think it was eye-opening to a lot of people as well, so we appreciate you.
That was illuminating. That was a lot of fun. So the gentleman was going home early because he was essentially demoralized that the protest was not staying focused on the big issue, which was defined as we don't like Donald Trump. Other, he said, peripheral issues such as child trafficking occurring at the southern border are merely distractions from the big issue, which is that Donald Trump is not only president, but actually is a king. We have also learned that Donald Trump's efforts to end human trafficking, particularly child trafficking at the southern border, are not only not happening, but again, ultimately not important. We would rather have no Trump and child trafficking than Trump and no child trafficking.